Good morning, everyone, and I am here. My name is Cassandra Vanderchuck, and I'm here on a podcast viewing of a Thomas Rhett discussion in association to the internet and his experience with music and the transition of what algorithm. Apparently, there was a discussion in the algorithm, and he's a good example because he's been musically famous. At least in my locale of the corner of Georgia, all the way over to Colorado, for some years now. Of course, his dad has also he grew up in the industry because his dad is a very famous country star. Rhett Akins is his name. There's a lot of things coming up for me. So the way that Thomas spoke to was his videos would get 1 million views, and then that number went unusually low. Then he goes on to discuss the people who would comment in the comment section. And it really kind of blows my mind because honestly, I think to all of his albums, and there's not been one album that isn't true to his sound. So when we used to, fans would go to fans, and if you didn't like somebody, you would not go to the page. Hang on, my dog is trying to get in the house. So fans wouldn't even think about it. Honestly, I'll be honest, Bruce Springsteen is a very, very talented, famous, loved by many millions artist. However, I'm not a huge fan. It's not like I'm not a fan, but I'm not like a person that would go to his concert and know all his songs. And that's not because it's a genre thing too, an age thing, but it's not that I don't like him. And I wouldn't go to his page to tell him an album of his is terrible. Does that make sense? So to me, it sounds like they were guiding the masses into getting you to think of what you want to think in as you like that or you don't like that. Who was willing to conform to what Obama administration and Biden administration were up to in the far left? Because the country music hits are not in the forefront any longer. They're pushing rap into your face, but rap represents hardship, aches, and terror, honestly, because that's also Black Lives Matter. You're going to tell me that Ice Spice is a freaking famous singer who wears no underwear and a skirt that shows her vagina? And that's the trending artist at this time? No way. No, that's what you're telling us that we want to be fans of, because Ice Spice is a violent person who's one of those girls that would go to the grocery store and see the girl that she was beefing with, and they would have a hair pulling fight in the vegetable section. And she gave head to Dre or whoever, and now they're sleeping their way to the top. Not to mention their agenda fueling for the far left. And that also takes me to the next thing he said is getting the validation. So everybody in industry went through this evolution of thought process associated to validated by bots. To get validated by bots. What is a bot? A bot? So you want this plastic container to validate your self-esteem? And I'm not talking to Thomas Rhett, I'm talking to everybody. Even in music and acting and all that shit. Where is this energy coming from that is so volatile to Thomas Rhett, who used to be able to have 1 million views and skip along his merry little way with his kids and go to the playground. That now he has concerns about what kind of music he puts out, to where he even thinks about changing his sound to sound like Luke Combs or Morgan Wallen, so that you as an audience will fit in, that you'll want him to sing for you. Like, where did his fans go, and how disloyal can you possibly be? Or how brainwashed are you? Morgan Wallen went out and kissed women, not many of them. This is not professional. This is the most unprofessional artist I've ever heard. To go to a bar and kiss multiple women at a country, this is a country bar though. This isn't rap. Like, rapping and those people have a different mentality than a country singer. So y'all don't know country like I know country, but I grew up in Georgia. I grew up near where Thomas Rhett grew up. I grew up next to Jason Aldean. I grew up next to Luke Bryan. Y'all lived up in LA and New York City. Country singers do not operate and behave where it's a virus that's gone rampant. They show up and they perform, for one. And then two, they're going around kissing a lot of women, to where I think some of them even ended up with COVID. And then now Thomas Rhett, because Morgan is a child, he's fueling the virus to kill people. And now Thomas Rhett is saying that he thinks he needs to, somehow his mindset went to chasing a hit versus a hit becomes a song. Not to mention the last album he put out was it was top of the line, I have to tell you. And it didn't get the notoriety that it deserved. Let's take a listen to a little bit more of what he has to say on this.
Started to really not be myself anymore.
Now, where does that? He's like being real vulnerable and real honest in this interview, which is a dangerous place to be. But he started to not be himself because of you as the audience. This is a real conversation around somebody who went through something that came out on top, and who's sharing it in a way that's not too revealing, because we all know that if he was dealing with that in his personal space, he was dealing with something in his marriage, he was dealing with something with his parenting, he was dealing with something in his career.
Just kind of lame to write with, honestly. Just vanilla, straight down the middle stuff.
Okay, what was the bottom for you that made you go, I gotta get up? Something had to happen for you to go, I gotta make a change in my life.
Yeah, dude, it was around Christmas time last year, and like, I kind of go into weird places when I'm off the road, because it feels like a therapy. Are all your podcasts like therapy sessions? Like, hey,
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay.
I go to a lot of therapy myself.
Yeah,
so,
same. But when I'm off the road is a really challenging time for me, because when you're on the road, you're getting 3 straight nights of like dopamine
celebration, yes, love, however you're, yes.
And then you come home, and I love my children and I love my wife. It is the complete opposite. It's like retractable dopamine, if that makes any sense.
I mean, I will leave the stage being told I'm the funniest person in the whole world by a couple thousand people.
Right.
And then my wife's like, you did not take out the trash, and she loves me more than they ever will.
For sure.
Well, I have something to say about that, but that's a different section of looking to the crowd for validation. So there is some growth there for him. I mean, we are doing a therapy session, right? For at least in this little segment. I get the dopamine though, because you're in a crowd and the audience is mostly in a good mood, and then you're performing and they're cheering for you, and then you come home and your wife is not happily in the marriage, and your children aren't happy because your wife is a psycho. So then it's like coming home to going on the road with cool ass people who really enjoy your company, to coming home to someone who can barely stand to look at you. to children who are completely confused in their existence of what the fuck is going on here. And so you're like in highs and lows. And let's not forget that Thomas Rhett's wife is a celebrity only because of him. And she also doesn't offer shit on her platform. Except for that's my husband. And she's a violent woman. She's violent. She spent hours abusing me for fun. To be part of the Western, which the West girls didn't particularly like her anyways. Because she's Southern and she doesn't know how to be molded into a Westerner, Northerner, blah, 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 blah. And these bitches are fucking crazy. But she had the ability, because she's Georgian, to tap into what occurred as a sweet girl and a funny girl and a girl that I went to high school with, that kind of thing. To where she was able to violently abuse me, and she was proud of that. So she thought she was going to get in like Flynn with Taylor Swift. And just to let you know, Taylor Swift, a 3.5-hour concert is illegal. And that you using all those videography videos in the background is fucking illegal. You don't really actually sell your music. You sell an image and a brand of psychosis. And the bracelets are basically your number in the Holocaust. So the fact that you say you're a good person, Taylor, you are not a good person. You're a very bad person. That is horrific. I've seen some of your lighting and your backdrops, and you are causing brain damage, honestly. So you go ahead and you cry your little baby eyes out to your boyfriend, Travis Kelce, who's my cousin. I'm going to let you know, bitch, that you're psychotic. You all go take a look at who she used to be when she was 15 years old. That little twat hasn't changed one bit. She's conniving, she's maniacal, and she's all about her fucking self. And she destroyed country music. Because she wanted to fit in, which is what he just said. That means we've got a lot of artists out there who are not true to who they are. They're only true to industry. But even if you're true to industry, which is self-centered and self-righteous, because you want a hit, you want the dopamine, you actually are not self-aware or you don't have self-confidence. So you can be charming and clown-like and all that shit and sweet and cool to hang out with and all that crap. But the truth is that you've got millions of people who are counting on you to be a good person, not even in your music. You're talented through and through. You got the ability to write a hit song, every song you write, when you don't have that whore next to you. She stops you from being creative. She actually wants you to fail. She wants to be either the hero or she wants to be the one that tears you down. I don't know why you married that whore. I'm sorry, but you met in elementary school or some shit. No, thank you. And that goes for both of you. You know she wanted a money ticket. She's like, well, he's probably going to be famous. I don't really like him, but I'd rather be famous than live a good life. That's really what everybody says. We're dealing it with every single celebrity out there who is in any relationship with anybody. Because Thomas Rhett's wife is not that attractive. She's not like plastic face. I haven't seen her in a while. She's probably gotten some work done, but she's not LA West Side plastic face yet. I wanted to say something else about entrepreneurship, because music industry is entrepreneurship. And I do believe that people are being forced to go on tour and forced to do different things. Like, here's your orders associated to the Democratic Party to fuel a community, to grow the agenda of this Be Kind bullshit. I'm sorry, but fuck Be Kind. Be yourself. People want be yourself, not be kind. And so what we're seeing here in entrepreneur space now is, deals that were done a year ago, 2 years ago, and the realization is that they're fucking evil as shit and they can't be trusted, but even more so, the quality of the work is a disaster. The quality of the work is a complete fucking disaster. So you all who made these deals with these corrupt, fake, be kind people are getting your asses robbed, and you're getting robbed blindly for some of you. You thought because you were in, I gave you the thought that in Vayner Nation that you all could come together and everybody in Vayner Nation could be successful financially and go viral on TikToks, etc., based on the Charli D'Amelio theory. And instead of you asking me what that was about, you just fucking decided to do it on your own. And then you fucking destroyed the planet. So we all know Peg Moore. Look at Peg Moore's numbers. If you don't have it, you don't have it. You got to have something to teach. You don't even have to have the it factor. So y'all all think you have to have the it factor, the brand dealing, and all that other bullshit that y'all made up in your fucking heads. No, you just have to have something to educate on. Jordan Peterson doesn't have an it factor. He's strange. In a very good way. To me. Because the difference between me and you too is that you think, because you're born in Wyoming, that you have the capability to have fans across the whole United States. And that's not how it works. You also think that you as a Wyoming person should be able to go global and be able to fit in globally. And that's not how it works. You also think as somebody who's quote unquote Taylor, called a famous. So you think you're famous. And you think that you, as you're a Swiftie style person who's seen by all. You think that no one should judge you because you're a Taylor Swift factor or some shit. And that's not a compliment. Taylor Swift, if you were to actually have a conversation with her, yeah, you could have a 30-minute conversation and she'd be super cool. But if you hung out with her for more than an hour or two, you would fucking hate her guts because she's that annoying. Because she's lives in a box. She doesn't have any education. Did she even go to high school? Did she study anything associated to politics? Or was her politics associated with her winning? See, that's why Hollywood does not belong in politics, because someone has to regulate these self-righteous, egotistical pieces of shit who wear no underwear with mini skirts. Country music is the music that brings peace to the land. You know why? Because in the old days, everybody sang country music. Black people sang it. It was like folky, blue country shit. And that's how people came together. They went to barn raisings, and they went to, that's history. Not made up shit. Like black people in the old days, they did witchcraft singing. Go back and listen to what y'all used to sing. It's like reeling them in. Wobble, 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 whoa. That's music to you. Now you're rapping. And you know I like a good rap. Obviously, I like Tupac, I like Biggie, I like Snoop. That's different. Although you go listen to those damn lyrics of what Tupac was saying. And what you as an audience, how you all took that energy of what he produced, and you thought they were talking cop killer. Ice-T or Ice Cube. I forget who did cop killer. So you're downplaying intelligent, witty, what is it called when you're an activist for Black people in your own community? Battling a stereotype associated to your own community, bad behavior of your own community, to bad behavior of paid off cops in LA. You do want to understand that, right? We do understand that there's bad in everything, but there's also good in a lot of things. And then when there's a lot of bad on both sides and there's a good person, the good person needs to protect themselves because y'all bad, they bad. You might be good, but you hanging with the bad, so now you bad. No, it's not just let them be and let them do whatever the fuck they want, because then if we did that, ghetto ass losers, we got a drive-by and a 5-year-old little girl who could have been a senator is now dead. But y'all don't care about that. You just care about your agenda and what Al Sharpton has to say, although Al Sharpton is a piece of shit. Greedy ass piece of shit. How can you in your right minds tell me that you are going to sit there and cheer for Al Sharpton? Or even Obama, based on what he has said to you. You go take a look at what he's actually done. You got a crush on him, fine. He should have been an actor, not a fucking politician. I'm going to tell you right now that Michelle Obama is not a lawyer and did not go to Harvard. She did not go to Princeton. No effing way that personality of who she is someone who went to Princeton. And go ask a Black person who went to Princeton and Harvard. It's unbelievable to me how easily gotten everybody is, because no one ever does any research behind any of it. You men in music, it's funny to me because you don't actually value music. You value the validation that comes with music. You want to be worshipped also. Bobby Bones is an example of chasing that pussy. You go chase that pussy, Bobby Bones. Or Bobby, whatever your name is. I think you are Bobby Bones. Bobby Cast, which has to be Bobby Bones, who used to be a radio DJ and now he's a podcaster. I think he had Gary Vee on his podcast, and he was mean to Gary Vee. See, that's the thing. Bobby Bones is from somewhere else. Gary Vee is from New Jersey. New Jersey people are rough around the edges. That's just the culture. And then he was living in New York for a really long time, and he's adopted some of those characteristics. And then he's also a Russian, USSR born for 3 years, and then grew up in a household with people who were violently abused and murdered by the government. So Gary never says how his parents of his parents were killed. Do you want to think that maybe they were killed because they were living in a communist country? But you don't think like that. You don't ask questions. You don't consider that you're the problem when he's the guest, and then you try to berate and bully and run him over in your podcast because you're in a battle versus in a educational piece for an audience. Ain't no one trying to steal your shit, Bobby Bones. Except for me. Because... Stop it. Consider that Bobby Bones doesn't agree with the fact that Gary is from the USSR and that he's successful. And then when it comes to personality traits, Bobby Bones isn't able to adapt to his guests unless you're white, Southern American. Meaning Bobby Bones shouldn't be a celebrity at all. Or really, honestly, a national podcaster, should he? If he can't mold himself into a relaxed state for somebody else sitting across from him, then he's not very good at his job. Now, we've got a couple types of people. We've got people like Gary Vee who are American, born in other countries, but definitely has the apparent ability to show us that he is from the USSR. He's a good person. Now, that's the thing about like Elon Musk and Gary is they have good intentions. Meaning Gary's undercover with the biggest piece of shit, of female shit in history. Undercover and posting shit to save this country. Elon Musk for the United States of America because he got something out of this life here in this country to save free speech. While everybody's trying to attack him. Bobby Bones is an American and he doesn't give a shit. That's the difference between a true American and a fake American. And then you got people like Thomas Rhett who are just kind of like waiting around for somebody else to do the work. What are you in the country music going to do to assist us, folks? This is Luke Bryan. This is Tim McGraw. You're all just going to not post on TikTok because you don't like the way it feels when bots come after you. You're not going to speak up for Republican. Jason Aldean's doing something. He's getting his ass handed to him, but he must be a battler. I don't know. What exactly are the rest of you going to do? Not to get attention. Not to get attention. Jason Aldean didn't want that attention, but they just gave that attention to him because he then became a target. You got 4 kids now, Thomas. You got 4 kids. And then, Luke, how many kids do you have? And you got some nephews you're taking care of. And a prostitute wife who's a complete bitch. We saw that with how she behaved with Katy Perry. You're a good actress, Katy, but you're not that good. It was very disrespectful. The way that these women operate on all levels is fucking disrespectful and spiteful. And when are you going to stand up to that? You just turn a blind eye? You know, the fact of what is going on with the undercover work that Gary and I are doing is your proof that these bitches ain't got no class. It's classless. That kind of posting and content is trash. Meaning everything in our faces right now has nothing to do with anything of advancing our civilization to be stronger people and self-awareness. It's all about cunts, bitches, and sex. And that's what the Democrats are counting on for you to be submissive. Mona Van, you're a fucking whore, not American. Go back to Toronto. And don't you worry, we'll make it work where Ali will still be able to take care of you and handle you for what you've done. Because you don't even like Americans. Understand that, folks. You're not fucking American. You're a fucking liar. And you definitely know the difference between a true American or someone who's just shitting on our land. Someone who shits on our land calls themselves Persians and don't teach shit. And then Bobby Cass will have that bitch on his podcast and then he'll act like she's a fucking queen because she's so fucking hot. And that's the new man American. And that's how you disrespect women. And that's why women are such fucking evil bitches. To where they then destroy other women's lives. You have no respect for American women. You fucking violated us by marrying foreigners and then parading them around as if they were better than us. To act as if their culture is more important than being an American. Meaning Motivate had a Christmas party, no stockings, no gifts, no ornaments on the tree, no traditional Christmas food. Means she doesn't know Christmas. That wasn't a Christmas party. That was a Muslim party of her being worshipped by a community of people. And when they didn't do what she wanted them to do, she took a knife, stabbed them in the throat, and cut their heads off. Including the Huffington Post whore. And that's the future of Gary Vaynerchuk's business while he works undercover with the Democrats. So that bitch doesn't even belong on the internet. She should have kept her ugly ass behind the scenes. But she was too busy trying to win power over you as the United States of America. And we're being overthrown by Muslims, you dumb cocksuckers. She's a fucking Muslim. A through and through Brotherhood Muslim bitch. Now, what are you going to fucking do, Bobby Caste system? All right, y'all, we made it to 31 minutes. I wasn't going to do this on this platform, but I think it's real important to focus on what I just said about bad business dealings, and you made bad business dealings to get yourself to a space in your business to where now you're fucking failing, which is even worse is you're all fucking completely miserable. Gary Vaynerchuk is fucking miserable as shit. And I haven't really hung out with him like we used to hang out with because that last video that you posted was pretty diabolical. And when you said fiance, it really set me off on a disconnect of eternity. So that's that. And then connecting, knowing that you're not the type of person who is going to connect with everybody. And I told you, if you were an entrepreneur, everybody hates you. So that's what they mean by lonely road. They all want to take from you. They all want you to fail. They don't really support you because you're saying things that are not typical. And we'll do another podcast on another platform talking a little bit more about the bad side of entrepreneur because they never, ever, ever really tell you about it. Entrepreneur is not for the weak-hearted or the weak-minded. And honestly, I don't even like entrepreneurship. I'm forced into it. I'm in slave labor. I've made $0 off my entrepreneurship. However, this is entrepreneur. And I'm the best at entrepreneur over all of you because I don't cater to the likes and the loves. And I don't stand for nonsense and bullshit. I speak the truth, which means that I have the morals, ethics, and values. Now, I'm specifically speaking, I'm very successful in other entrepreneur sectors, such as dentistry and yoga practice, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'm specifically speaking to internet online blacklisting and blackballing. And that's real shit. That's why there is no freedom of speech. Because of cunt bitches like Kim Kardashian, who has nothing to offer. Nothing.